All right, so picture this. You're working overseas for a huge tech company. You open your inbox, and there's this urgent email from corporate. The subject line, a 24-hour deadline that could literally upend your entire career. Well, that's exactly what happened when the US government decided to attach an absolutely massive price tag to one of the world's most popular work visas. Let's get into it. This right here, this is the number that sent total shockwaves through the global tech industry. $100,000. And get this, it wasn't a one-time thing. We're talking an annual fee for every single employee. For decades, the H-1B visa has been this key pathway for skilled workers from all over the world to come work for American companies. But this move, it completely changed the game overnight. So what on earth happens when a work visa suddenly costs more than a lot of people's salaries? Let's start with the pure chaos of it all. This wasn't some policy that was rolled out over a few months or even a few years. Nope. This was a sudden, drop-dead deadline that created a full-blown 24-hour crisis for thousands of people and their employers. Now, what's so wild about this is just the sheer panic you can feel in the words. This quote is from an actual internal email at Microsoft. They were telling employees who were abroad to get on a plane and get back to the US immediately. And for those already in the States, they were told to stay put. This wasn't just a simple policy update. It was a mad scramble. And this timeline just shows how insanely fast this all went down. The executive order gets signed on a Friday. By Saturday, companies are blasting out these emergency alerts. And by Sunday, that was it. The deadline hit. We're talking about a single weekend for massive companies and all their employees to react to a six-figure policy bomb. So you have to be asking, why? Why such a sudden, dramatic change? Well, let's get into the administration's official reasoning. The stated goal here was to totally shake up how American companies use this visa program. Okay, so the first part of their argument, laid out here by the Commerce Secretary, is really focused on prioritizing the American workforce. The message couldn't be clearer. Companies should be investing in training American talent instead of looking overseas to fill jobs. And the second part of the rationale kind of builds on that idea. The White House staff secretary basically framed this $100,000 fee as a filter. The thinking is, if a company is willing to shell out that kind of money, it must be for someone who is truly exceptional, and more importantly, someone who can't be replaced by an American worker. And this all brings us back to the program's official, stated purpose. In the administration's view, the H-1B visa is supposed to be reserved for highly skilled people in fields where there just aren't enough American workers to go around. So, this new fee, in their eyes, is a tool to enforce that original intent. Now, to really understand the real-world impact of a policy like this, you have to look at who's actually using the H-1B program. And when you look at the data, you see a really specific picture of the countries and the companies that depend on this flow of talent. I mean, this donut chart really says it all, doesn't it? Workers from India make up a staggering 71% of all H-1B visa holders. China is a distant second at just under 12%. So even though the policy is American, you can bet its impact is felt most intensely on the other side of the world. And as you'd probably guess, the tech industry relies heavily on this pipeline of talent. So which companies are in the hot seat? Well, it's pretty much a who's who of big tech. The giants of Silicon Valley and beyond are by far the biggest users of the H-1B program. Let's just look at these numbers from the first half of 2025 alone. Amazon and its cloud business, AWS, got over 12,000 H-1B approvals. Microsoft and Meta, over 5,000 each. You can do the math pretty quickly. That $100,000 annual fee translates into billions with a B in new costs for these companies. So here's where we land. We have a policy designed to protect American jobs by making foreign talent incredibly expensive. And we know exactly which countries and which companies are going to feel that financial hit the hardest. And all of that brings us to one final, really provocative question. Is it the companies who might just pass the cost on to consumers or see their profits take a hit? Is it the workers themselves whose opportunities might just disappear? Or is it something bigger, like the whole landscape of innovation, which has always been fueled by a global exchange of ideas and talent? That is the multi-billion-dollar question at the very heart of all this.